My father and grandfather were shepherds. Jobs like mine, they tend to run in families, you know. My two boys, now they're both farmers. Have farms of their own, sheep of their own. Ha! I always used to look after other people's. But then my boys are really, really quite bright. They take after their mother, I think. She's quite a scholar. Not like me, no. I left school barely able to read or write. But then that wasn't so unusual in my day. We shepherds, you know, we get looked down upon. Well, we have to work every day of the week, most of the year. And with so many priests around, well, we get looked down upon. Breaking God's laws, they say. But quite where all these priests would get all the lambs they need, if it wasn't for us, heaven alone knows. I sometimes think that priests speak without thinking, especially the young ones. Hotheads, I call them. Yeah. They don't give a thought to you. Mind you, these days quite a lot of people do that. Speak without thinking. Someone came up to me the other day and said to me, "Your life must be really dull." Well, the kindest thing in the world. I mean, I suppose, looking after sheep every day, one day's a bit like the next. But how many of you have seen the sun come up? Or had the time to sit and watch lambs gambol and play with each other? Or sat on a hillside at night with the stars above you and watch the moon rise into the heavens, eh? Well, one night, I saw a sight that very few people have ever seen. Only happened once, just the once. But its memory will last my entire lifetime. So, when people are unkind to me, I say, "Seth, doesn't matter. You had your one night. They didn't." I was about 19, I think, just coming up this time of the year. And that means it's nearly 50 years ago. Doesn't time fly? I was still living with my parents, God bless their souls. We lived in a little village a few miles outside Jerusalem. I was on the shift, looking after the temple flock. Now that's quite a responsible job, you know. Sheep have to be, you know, without blemish, without harm or hurt, no marks, no scratches. It's a responsible job. I was on nights that night. And we'd been out on the hill, we'd had supper, the fire was dying down, we were sitting in the dark, no moon, chatting. Sheep, hundreds of them, all around us, quiet, as it's supposed to be. It was Simon who spoke first. He's still my best friend, is Simon. He said to me, he said, "Seth, is it getting lighter, or is it me?" And sure enough, when he mentioned it, it was. Where previously we'd all been lost in the shadows, now we could see one another's faces. And the sheep all around us, they began to sort of glow, white they were. We looked up the hill, and above us was this, further up, 20, 30 feet up, this sort of cloud. And in the heart of that cloud was what, well, he looked like a man, but taller, with piercing eyes. He didn't say anything. I can tell you, we didn't say anything either. We weren't going to speak. And he looked like he was trying to find the words to say. And suddenly he spoke. He said, "I bring you good news of great joy." And he sort of burst with excitement. And it rolled down the hill to us. You could almost feel the joy in it. And he then told us about this baby that was going to be born in our village at the bottom of the hill. Sent by God, he said. Sent by God to be the Messiah. The Messiah, the Saviour of the world. Phew. And then, he wasn't just one man, or 2, or 4, or 8, or 10. There were hundreds. There were thousands of them flowing up the hill, into the sky, into the heavens. And they were singing, and they were singing, and they were singing. And when they reached the end, it was like doors shut. And we were in the dark again, in the cold. We didn't know what to do. Samuel spoke, team leader, somewhere in the dark. Well, come on then, he said. We got an errand, we got a job to do. Come on, let's get going. Let's go and find this baby. And he set us going. We were on our feet and we were jumping and shouting and laughing and running and racing. And we went down the hill into the village. We didn't need any directions, Our feet almost knew the way. And there we were, at this place. It wasn't much of a place. It was more like a shallow sort of rock cave. Wooden doors to try and keep a little bit of the cold out. And we pushed our way in. There were 3 of them in there. Older guy, not much older, 20s, 30 maybe. Young girl, much younger than him. And the baby. Oh, they were poor. He said he was a carpenter, he said. Nazareth. Come for the census, The girl, gosh, she looks so tired. And the baby, well, they'd wrapped him up in some rags and they'd tucked him in a feeding trough, covered him with straw, try and keep the little mite warm. Try and keep him alive, I would think. It wasn't anything. It was nothing much. But we knew what that fella on the hill had told us. This was really special. So we did what we were told. And we went and we told everybody we could find. And for a day or so, well, we were celebrities. We were famous. Didn't last, though. Do you know, it's really amazing how quickly people forget. And they just go back to doing what they ordinarily do. So that's what we did too. Went back to being shepherds on the hill. But we weren't the same, you see. We were changed. And it's kept me warm ever since. Because I was there, you see. I was there.